Hey replay watchers, thanks so much for finding this. I am glad to have you a part of this training. Out here, let's get everybody jumping on. Thanks so much for jumping on, replayers as well. I'm glad you found this. And we have everybody jumping on. This is going to be a good topic. I want to help people be able to get their spouses or their partners to start helping them in their home business. So glad to have you here. Halloweener31 is here. Hello, Rosie. Glad to see you. Thanks so much for putting your name. I'm glad that you saw that. If you watched my replay from yesterday, I did give that tip. That's a great little tip that if you are talking to these scopers, to put your name when you say hi, because then we can easily see it. Thanks, Lyndon, Vanessa here again. Jennifer's here. Glad to have you guys here. Vicky, thanks so much. And I'm glad that you also are finding this as a replay, because I know that sometimes it's hard to jump on these live scopes when people are just randomly putting them out there. Today's going to be a great topic. Tim, great seeing you. Tim, I loved your video. I'm so glad that you put it out because I couldn't wait to share it. So I think you are a fantastic dancer. Seriously, much better than me in many ways. So glad to see you kicking booty. Angela, great seeing you. Diane, you're here. Diane just lives up the street. So Diane, you could probably hear me yelling this from the backyard of my house. Aaron's here. Francie, awesome. Rochelle, Jody, glad to see y'all here. Carrie, Claire, perfect. All right, so what we're going to do is I'm going to, of course, give you an introduction, of course, myself and what we're going to be talking about today. I want to get right to the meat of it all. You'll probably see my labs running around in the background, maybe my kids with headphones on. My name is Christine Dwyer, and I help people build fitness businesses, predominantly online, but also creating a culture and leadership amongst their team. I've been doing that now as an independent contractor for 15 years, working for fitness celebrity, as well as really helping people in network marketing and being associated with a health and fitness major chain, and to be able to build millions being able to do that. And it's kind of crazy for me to say that because I'm just a poor girl from a country town in upstate New York, and I grew up very poor, the youngest of 4 girls, and to be able to say that I'm a multimillionaire by doing entrepreneur work as a network marketer kind of sounds crazy. But I want to share with you in this little scope and help you with some of your questions that you have about how to involve your spouse or partner with your home business. It doesn't matter what your home business is, of course, but this is usually a very strong topic that can create a lot of fights. So I want to help you out with that. I've got a book here that I'm going to recommend that many people read as well, that I always have my teammates reading when they get started. So I'm glad you guys found this. Let's get going. And for those of you who are new to Scope, make sure, even if you're watching the replay, if you tap the screen, it gives hearts, and that definitely is going to help the Periscoper know exactly what topics are great topics to talk about, because of course the more hearts that you give. And also I think it's a great idea because I'll go back and see who watched the replays on some of this and see, oh, someone gave 1 heart. Oh, that's so kind. Thank you. Come on, give more hearts to people. That's going to really help people. Someone from Dallas was calling. I don't know who that was. Probably someone trying to sell me something. All right, let's get going in this topic here. So thanks so much for jumping on again. And we are really going to start to dive into some food for thought on how to involve your spouse or partner in your home business. Now, if you want to get more tips from this, I'm going to really focus more on a question and answer for you guys so that you can get your questions answered. So I can help you out with that. But I did run a podcast on this. If you follow my podcast, go to The Platinum Edge, and you're going to find my podcast where I did give 5 tips on how to bring your spouse or partner into helping and building your home business. And they're all from learning lessons. So as you're joining this, to give you a background about it all, my background is as a fitness professional. So I've been a fitness professional for 24 years and teaching group fitness, working for fitness celebrity Chalene Johnson, grooming other independent contractors to launching their amazing, successful fitness careers. I've been doing that for years, mentoring people doing that. And then I joined in a network marketing company that is based around health and fitness. And when I was joining it, my husband said this. So this is my husband. He's an IT guy. And so for those of you who are like, what's an IT guy? Well, those are the computer geek guys. You know that when you have something wrong with your computer, they come and they say, move. They don't want to have to walk you through it. They just want to do it themselves. Well, that was him. So he was actually a CIO. So he wasn't just a tech support guy. He was actually a bigwig in it. And he had the job that he actually was working to love in his career, being a chief information officer for a school and a vice president for the school. So that he got his dream job. And when I started my business with the health and fitness company and coaching, I said to him what I was going to be doing, and I got my dogs all over the place here. Then he said, I want nothing to do with it, because he just looked at it as, oh, it's just another one of your fitness things that you're just going to keep adding to your plate and make yourself busier. I don't want any part of it. And he didn't want any part of it. Here's where it switched. I was building my business. We had 3 bank accounts. He had his, I had mine. We had the joint one that paid all the bills. We were living comfortably. We were average. I was making, when I started this, I was making $30,000 a year working for a fitness company, Chalene Johnson. And then also he was making $100,000 as a CIO. So when I started building this business, we were living average life. I mean, obviously we're in the US, so this is America 101, I think, of average life, 2,000 square foot house. I was pregnant with my daughter. I was 5 months pregnant when I started network marketing, and I had a son already, a 1.5-year-old son. And so I just did my fitness thing, just started building this business and doing what I knew how to do. Help people become successful, grooming them to be able to build their following and culture and leadership. That's all I knew how to do, and I just kept doing that. Well, we had 3 different bank accounts. 2.5 years passed. Yeah, so 2.5 years passed. Sure, I did achieve the top in the company that had never been achieved before. Sure, Christine did make all these first, and my husband's like, great job, good job in your little fitness thing. He's giving me applause because, of course, I just achieved another fitness award. He didn't know that this was actually a legit big old business. And so 2.5 years passed of me just achieving in it, and he didn't pay it any mind. When he finally gave it mind was when I gave him a check, and I said, I don't have time to go to the bank. Can you just deposit this? So he went to the bank and he deposited it in my bank account, and then the slip comes out and he's like, what's going on here? Should I go to Mexico? Like, should I move? He was like, what is going on? And I said, I've just been building this business. And he says, you have to do something with this money, because me, poor girl from the country of New York, when I was starting to finally make money, I wasn't a spender. I was like hoarder. But financial stuff, investments and life insurance and blah, blah, blah. To me, I don't care about that stuff. It just doesn't work in my brain. I tune out in 2 seconds if I have to think for 5 seconds. Like, I'm gone. So he's like, I have to jump in and start helping you with this. So by him now wanting to have a part of this was by accident, really, because he saw that I was being silly with my money. Silly, stockpiling it in a bank. That's what I was doing. So that's where he jumped in and started to work on the parts that I was just don't care to do. I mean, I care. I mean, obviously I wanted to make money, but I just didn't know what to do with it. And so he came in and started filling in the blanks of where I just didn't have time for, don't have the attention span for, and just don't want to do. And that was the financial side. So his first step in actually being involved in this little old fitness business was financial investments. He hired a financial advisor and he took care of all that money. I don't even know exactly where it all is. I mean, of course it's legit, but he did all of the life insurance, setting all of that up. He does all the health insurance. He works with a financial advisor, doing all the investments and the payroll and the S Corp. I mean, everything that you have to do when you own your own business. He's done that all. He takes care of all the taxes. He takes care of the mortgage and paying off the mortgage faster. So he takes care of all that stuff that, for me, I don't even want to know a number about it. So I don't have to pay attention to any of that stuff anymore. That was his first initial step. So before I go into questions, I want to give you one other step that he then took to transition. So he does work with me full time. This is our business now. It's not just Christine's fitness thing anymore. He does work with me full time now. And where he started to really get more involved, I'm going to share with you how we started to get him more involved. But there was one little critical book I want to share with you. This is a book that I actually recommend to every new entrepreneur. This is one of the books that I recommend to all new entrepreneurs because I think that you got to keep learning. So I follow a lot of great leaders, and I try to get as close to them as I can. And because I think that if you can get yourself next to people who are successful in their own right of what they're doing, you're going to be more successful. You shouldn't be the most successful person in your circle of influence. So I really try to find great mentors, people who are like me, think like me, work like me, have the same type of character. And that goes to books. I follow a lot of people that write books, and some of them I can't get through. This guy's I can get through. So he's one of many people that I love to follow, and I really appreciate. And it's actually John Acuff. So John Acuff, of course, has a scope on here too. So go follow him because he's funny. But I always recommend any entrepreneur start and read this book by John Acuff. This is a fantastic book, and if you love. Hey, do you see that title? It says Punch Fear in the Face. Why don't you tap the word punch, 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 and see all those little hearts coming up now because of all the people punching. See all these hearts floating up because of punch, punch, punch. Hit that button. Hit it, hit it, hit it. You guys aren't hitting it. So you really don't care about punching start in the face? Fine. There. Oh, I thought that was a good little technique. Anyway, I think that is great for the new entrepreneurs to start. The reason why I'm recommending that book is because he's got a topic in there called How and Wow. So basically, in many relationships, a lot of relationships, there's usually a person who's the how person and a person who's the wow person. So me, I'm a creative. I like to socialize, and I like to groom people. I like to create trainings. I like to share the business, that there's a business with people. I really like to get out there, and I'm that person. I'm the trainer. I am the stage speaker. Does that make sense? So that's me. I'm the wow. He is the how. Now, not to say he's not social, because he's sometimes more social than me. Sometimes I just want to sit on the couch on a Sunday and not talk to people, and he wants to go out and hang out all the time. So it's not that they're not social. It's their brains think in a certain way, and that he's a OCD type guy. He's got to have a checklist. He's got to have things done in an order, and he's got to have a schedule, and everybody's got to be on time. That's how he runs. That's not me so much. Typically, I come up with an idea, and I tell him about it. Then he goes and acts it all out and does all that needs to take place to make it happen, comes back to me and says, here, I did it. And I said, well, I didn't even think it through yet. I didn't even put all these ideas yet to it. I want to really do this, this, and this. That creates a little bit of tension sometimes when I come up with an idea and I haven't completely put the idea out there, and he goes and completes it. So that's a how and a wow person. Does that make sense? So when you have your relationships, you can't force people to be in roles that they may not want to be in. So he's a how person. When he is initially getting involved with me in this business, I was trying to tell him how to tell people about the business. I was trying to tell him certain parts of what you do with this business to grow it. Like physically, where you're going out and signing people up to be a part of it and doing it and training them and getting them going. I was trying to move him into that role. And it's not a role that he was wanting to do. And it became a conflict. It became fights. Because what I do is different from what he does. So I want to pause here for a second and look down for some of your questions. So if you have some questions, make sure that you put them in the comments. And if you want to make sure I answer it, maybe copy it before you send it so that if I don't see it, you can paste it again and be able to put that there. So let's see what you guys got. Thanks so much. Making that mistake definitely of forcing people into roles that they may not be able to fit in. I know, Chris Thomas? Yes, definitely. It's a role that could definitely hurt people, for sure. If you can force people into roles, it could hurt the relationship. So any questions that you have as we get rolling in this? Oh, wow. Getting very saucy with your words here. Oh, great. That's awesome. Yeah. Okay, so people are asking about sponsoring and stuff. That, of course, want to make sure that you guys know that we're talking about how to involve them. So it's not so much about like the business and talking specifically about that business. I just want to make sure that you guys, oh, are those cicadas? Do you guys hear those? I don't even know. Did he ever feel like he worked for me? That's a great question. So I'm going to stop there and answer that. that is a very delicate spot to be in, because especially when someone has achieved a lot of success in their business and then they start to involve the spouse or their partner into it, that can easily create a lot of tension and conflict where the person coming in doesn't feel like they have their place, as well as the person who's already been in it can become very bossy, demeaning, as well as short-tempered, and that can cause a lot of problems in a relationship. So it is a challenge, and you have to have a great understanding that your roles are going to be different. And if you are 100% going to involve that person in the business as a working cog in the wheel, then you want to make sure that they feel like it's a part and equal. So this business now that I have is not my business. I couldn't have this level of success in this business if I didn't have all those cogs in the wheel. So that's my husband and me. So it's one big wheel that we work together to make this. So it's not my business. Yeah, I'll get the awards and my name on the things, obviously, because I'm that front person, I'm that wow person, and he's the back end. So there's a lot of logistics that go on that a lot of people don't see, and a lot that I've removed off of my brain that I don't even have a clue on how to do anymore because I've given it. So you have to trust them. So that is going to be the number one tip I'm going to give you, is you have to trust them. And now it goes both ways, because someone like a spouse or a partner coming in to start helping your business, they've already been successful in what they've currently been doing, and they probably got a lot of great processes, and you probably have a lot of great processes, and this conflict of who's right can come in. Now, who is right? Well, first of all, you both have to be adults and understand there could be a way to do things different ways. And now, especially if someone's coming into an industry that is not their normal industry, they need to learn the reputation of that industry prior to actually putting their foot down and saying this is how things should be done. And I'm going to give that example because that is this example. So my husband is, again, in the IT industry, so computers and management and services and all that stuff. And me in the fitness industry, predominantly at this part of my life. I mean, I was in the medical industry, and I used to take x-rays and sell x-ray equipment and teach people how to do that. But being predominantly in the fitness industry, teaching group fitness for 24 years, and then professionally doing it for 11 years prior to this with Chalene Johnson, it's a different animal. It's a different industry. So the fitness industry, the health and fitness industry, is a very touchy-feely business. It's a very warm, fuzzy, pet your hair, hold your hand business. That's just the way it is. And I'm fine with that because that's just how I am. That's typically not I'm just going to say computer IT world business, because coming from corporate, he's used to processes being done this way. You close the deal this way, then you act on services this way, and you never bend. Because you normally don't bend in the corporate world. And I know, because I used to work in the corporate world. I used to do medical sales and applications. And there's not a lot of bending. In this industry, you have to be flexible. So that was a learning process for him to be able to come into this world and start to learn the reputation of it, and understanding that he can't just be hard as nails. Sometimes you have to do stuff that you don't really want to do, or it requires more of your time, or you're giving a lot of special circumstance to certain people. Sometimes you have to do that because, again, that's just how this business is that we're working together with. So it doesn't matter where you're coming from. It's just a matter of trying to figure out what is going to be best to handle the situations as well as work for both of you. So be careful that when you hand over an action, a task, or something for someone to do, that, or your spouse or your partner to do, that you give it, that you trust them. So I actually dive deeper in that on my podcast. I talk a lot about it on the Platinum Edge podcast. Go search for it, because I talk about how to actually do that more delicately as well. So we are talking about how to involve your spouse and your partner in your business. Thanks so much for jumping on. I see we got a bunch more users jumping on. My name's Christine, and I build predominantly a health and fitness business online, and I help people create millions. And I'm not just saying that like that guy, Austin Powers. No, for real. I've got 22 millionaires on my organization. 10 of them are personally sponsored and work with me. And so I've been able to help people build millions in network marketing as entrepreneurs as well. And that's what we're talking about today. So what else you guys have for questions? Let's answer some more, and I'm going to give you another tip on how we started to bring him in more into this business as well. Won't that hurt the relationship? Should they be the one first people sign up? And so does it matter what leg? Again, what we want to really talk about is how to involve them in working with you in the business. So my advice is if you have a spouse or a partner or someone that you plan to marry, I mean, hopefully it's a legit, you really are like heading down to either the courthouse or the aisle to get married. I say sign them up as soon as possible. So again, if you're in network marketing, no need to wait. And here's the thing, there's a lot of network marketing businesses that actually don't allow you to sign up other household members or spouses. And fortunately, the one I'm in, you can. And so if you haven't signed them up, it's silly that you have not signed them up, because that's 2 of you. So when I first joined, I told my husband what I was doing, but I didn't just let him not sign up. No. His Social Security account is another account that I can build. And whatever I build in that account pays the same bank account. So who cares that his name was on it? I still built both accounts for 2.5 years. And then when he still owns his account, of course, it's still legit, of course. But the people in his organization, he doesn't manually coach. He does a certain part of training people. So he does talk to our coaches, but he's not the one that's specifically giving them leadership development and stuff like that. He's more that tactical side. That's how he works with them. So does it hurt the relationship? It depends. It depends on those things that I was talking about and how you treat the person, and the other person being an adult enough knowing that they can't come in with their boss gavel saying, this is how it's done. You don't think I know how to do this stuff? I've been doing this for years. Well, I'm sure you've been doing it for years and you're super successful doing it for years, but please consider trying it a different way, because this is a different application or this is a different industry. And you have to do the same thing. So even with your skills and you thinking you're right all the time, you have to be an adult and open enough to take influence from them, because maybe their processes could streamline what you've been doing. And so you have to be an adult to go back and forth as well. So if you don't work well with your partner or your spouse, then this may not be a good idea to involve them. But there's always, I think, a strengthening point in a relationship when you can do something together. And for instance, my family as a whole, so of course my husband John, and then I've got 2 kids. I've got a 9-year-old son Johnny and a 6-year-old daughter Peyton. We all do Taekwondo. It didn't start that way. When we moved from New York to Texas, we signed my son up for Taekwondo. He was 5 years old at the time. We just wanted him to build confidence because he was a speech delay kid, and we really wanted him to build leadership, confidence, respect, and socialization, of course, as well. He started. Then when my daughter turned 4, she started. And then my husband said, you know what? Maybe I'll do it too. And so then he started. And then the martial arts studio was like, hey, Christine, you're in fitness, you probably do really well with this. And I'm like, no. Don't make me do more than I have to. I don't want to put more on my schedule. And then I said, you know what, let me do it. And it's been honestly one of the greatest parts for all of us as a family to do, is an activity that's solid together, because it's goal achieving. So it's not just, hey, let's all rollerblade together, which is perfectly fine. But this was different, and it works for our family because we found something that we're working towards achieving a goal. And my son is now a black belt at 9 years old. My husband achieved his black belt. I am 2 tests away from achieving my black belt. I'm a recommended black belt right now. And my daughter is a red belt, which is 1 step below recommended black belt. So we're all like there, but that was a goal achieving. Same thing with this. When you're working towards something that's your future, this is your future. You guys have to be mature enough and trust each other enough and be okay in your relationship enough to know when to shut it off and where the buttons are. Don't push the buttons, because you know the buttons. You're obviously with that person for a reason. And you have to make sure that when you are involving them, that you are, again, giving them respect, trust, and not forcing them into a role that is not their role. So hopefully that gives you some help in terms of, will it hurt the relationship? All right, any other questions that I may have missed, maybe put them out there. And then I want to go through and give you another tip as well. Thanks so much for giving me those hearts as well. This lets me know this is a great topic. And this is, of course, one that's really strong, because you probably want to live the life you want to live. And it's easier when it could be 2 of you working on the same goal, as opposed to just you working your butt off. Because I know I've been doing this for 7 years and I'm a workaholic. What if the spouse is jealous? You know what? This is a great topic. And I love that you said that. Thanks so much, Mimi. this is something actually I really want to dive deeper into. So be on the lookout for this, because I feel this is a strong problem as entrepreneurs. The thing is, of course, it comes into a maturity level, but also the strength in a relationship, and that you continue to work on your relationship. So obviously your relationship can't be perfect. I struggled in the middle, our relationship. I had thoughts of, I can just walk away because I'm self-sufficient. I can just walk away. We struggled in the middle, and it wasn't because of the business. It was because we weren't working on our relationship. We were separate. I was in my office with bedhead, much like this, and he was in his watching TV or with the kids. So we struggled in the middle, and there was a lot of other factors, of course, but not until we worked on our relationship more is when things turned. So first, if someone's jealous because of someone else's success, it's a guy thing. If it's a guy-woman relationship, obviously, but even if it's same-sex relationship, there can be a jealous person more so than another person, because they may want more attention than the other, or that person's achieving a lot of success in their life that they never achieved yet. There could be that factor. I think you have to first work on yourself. You have to be confident in yourself, have self-esteem. That's where it first comes from, having self-esteem. But where it typically comes from in a relationship where it's usually one person is the supporter and the one other person is, the one person's the breadwinner, should I say? Because my husband was the breadwinner. That plays on people's egos, and that is actually a transitional period if you can get over it. And that is also going to be that you have to work on yourself and your relationship. The one person having success has to be careful that they don't throw things in people's faces. They don't claim complete ownership, and I don't need you. I can do this. Look what I achieved. You didn't achieve that. It shouldn't be that at all. The thing is, it will be a hump and a hurdle. And this is actually something, as I said, I really want to dive deeper into, because I see a lot of relationships as entrepreneurs, not just in the organization I'm in, that are moving away from what they really wanted when they were married or when they got together. And it really is a lot because the one spouse can't get over themselves and can't believe that they're not the breadwinner anymore. And then they get jealous because that person's getting attention now, and they don't know how to handle it. It could be the one person is not giving back attention as well, and they're thriving on their new big head attention, because I see that. A lot of people who may not have achieved a lot of success early in their life can force themselves to have success in network marketing, because network marketing success is completely your doing. So when you're building your success and you build a title for yourself and you start bringing in money, then that can create a big head. And you have to work on yourself. You have to stay humble. That's the strongest thing. I act still like I'm poor a lot of the times. I'm not a spendy person. Yeah, we've got some pretty sweet cars in the garage, and we got a pretty Mac Daddy house and other things. But I spend on where I, of course, want to live, my quality of life. But I don't act like I'm making multi-millions, because I don't think that your character should change. Your character shouldn't change. It should only improve. And if you are running on your titles and throwing it back in people's faces, that can cause a lot of problems, and that will cause divorces and separations and conflicts with kids. And that's something I think you need to work on for yourself, because no matter how successful you get, you should still be you, but better. And it has to get better. So any other questions? I want to give you this other tip here. So when he first started to come in, so as I said, he started to work on the financial side of things. He started to set up all the investments and all of that. Now, of course, to have him work with me full time doing this together was a transition. And I'm not going to say it was easy. We fought a lot, and we both are right. We're both type A personalities, and we're both right. So the thing with transitioning him away from his job, we couldn't just say, oh, you're making this much in the bank? Let me quit. No, because that could cause problems in the relationship. I've seen that happen, where the partner or the spouse quits because they can now, because the one person is making a boatload of money now. So the one quits and then does nothing. They sit back. They work out all day at the gym. They go out and hang out with their friends, and they are not involved in the business. And that creates a lot of animosity, because then the person who started making all this starts to get the animosity and gets mad because they're spending so much time working to create this lifestyle for both of them. And that person is not even trying to build that up. They just quit their job and said, let me live the sugar daddy, sugar mama life. And that is going to create a lot of tension and animosity. So I don't suggest that once you see big income coming through that you just say, you can quit now. It has to be a transition. And I think the best transition is that you slowly start to melt some obligation of development of the business onto the person's lap. One of the things, of course, that my husband did was, while he was transitioning out of his career as a CIO, was really, again, focusing on making sure everything was set up that we needed to have set up to live independently and not work for corporate USA anymore and have health insurance. Because when you're an entrepreneur and you don't work for anyone else, you have to set up your own health insurance, and that's quite expensive. I don't know. I think Canada, like, you guys have Mac Daddy Awesome Insurance or something. I don't know. I just know that when you have a baby in Canada, you get a year maternity leave, and I thought that was awesome because I think we only get 3 months. I don't know. Thankfully, I was working out of my home, independent contractor, when I had both my babies. So what he did was he started to set all of that back end adult stuff up. Then he started to work into parts of my business that could take off my plate. And that would be keeping track of my teammates and where their growth is with their accounts each week. He would start to look and see, was someone at risk for losing money this week? Was someone at risk for losing or for losing their a coach or to lose their rank? Was someone missing the boat and just doesn't see if they just do this one activity, they can make this much more money this week? Why don't they do that? So that's some of the strong steps that he started right away. And of course, in network marketing, as long as you keep working it, the money just keeps increasing, providing you're with a good company, of course. So that's how we first initially got together and transitioned him. And then in April of 2011, I want to say that's when he was quitting, but I remember that clearly because we were down in Jamaica. We used to go on, I'm a Jones girl. I'm one of 4 Jones girls. That's my maiden name. And we would take all of my sisters, I have 3 elder sisters and all the kids and my dad, and we'd go away on a family vacation. And we were down in Jamaica, or not Jamaica, somewhere. Doesn't matter. We were somewhere, and we were on the phone on April 15th with our tax person at the time saying, do you have any more write-offs? No, we don't have any more write-offs, and we're off in this distant land. We just have to pay this money for taxes. And that's when it was truly a strong push to get him to get into this business with me so that we can figure out how to not have to get so, hard on taxes. And moving from New York to Texas definitely helped because there's no state income tax in Texas. So he's your business analyst, so to speak. That's a great question. So we always laugh about his titles now. So for me, what titles am I? I mean, obviously we say like I'm the CEO of the business, the executive officer of the business. I'm the creative. I'm the art person a lot of the times. He does some of the artwork for like logos. He'll do the logos for our conference. We give out t-shirts when people come to our conference, and he'll create the logos, and he loves when I give them that task. But anyway, he loves doing that stuff. So he has all these titles: CIO, so information officer, CFO, financial officer, operational manager, so he runs all the operations of even the house, like hiring all these contractors to come and take care of the pool and the lawn and painting the trim of the house and all of that stuff. He's the manager of the house, so he has the kids' schedules, and he tells, I of course take part in what the kids are doing too, but he's the one that runs it. He does all the school paperwork. He does all their homework with them. So he's a complete management. And so he probably is really underpaid, like a lot, I think. But he gets paid in other ways, of course, by living this amazing life together and not having to drive in any traffic and being able to have a Corvette. That's what he says. He gets a Corvette Stingray. Not just a Corvette, it's a Stingray. How did you do when you know you were ready to transition out of a regular job? Me, for myself? Great question. So I was working a full-time job, and it was a full-time job that was more than 40 hours. So I worked for Chalene Johnson, and she owned a company called Powder Blue Productions, and that was a fitness company where I was known as the National Promotions Director. So that was my role with her. And what I did was I managed all of the master trainer presenters that worked for her company, and there was 60 plus of them. So I was responsible for recruiting new ones and selecting the new ones, as well as teaching and grooming them, but grooming them all and managing their day to day. So that was a huge task. So it was way more than 40 hours, but we never punched a clock because we loved our bosses so much. We knew that they had our backs. So obviously, if you follow Chalene, she does talk about me because obviously we're really close friends too. But the reason why we worked so hard for them, and I say we because it wasn't just me doing it, it was a lot of the employees for the company, because we loved them, we loved their character, we loved their mission, we loved their work ethic, and we knew that they would always have our back and they always wanted to have the best for us. So we trusted them, and so we worked a lot more than 40 hours, but we never punched a clock. You never looked at it that way because it was always for the greater good of everyone, the company, the people you impact, everyone. So that was my industry initially. And then in 2011, I clearly remember because we were off on a snowboard trip with Chalene and Brett and a bunch of other friends that are also in this business with us. And she encouraged me and told me to quit her full-time job with her, told me to quit. And I fought her hard. She initially told me to go part-time, and I did. Fought her hard because I was like, no, I love this business. I will never leave your company. Little did I know, she's like, she's got a crystal ball. I don't know if you guys know this about Chalene, but she can see the future. She can. And she has the future projection that we don't even know or see yet. And so when she was giving me ideas of what to do, pretty much telling me you should, and I was like, no, I'm not. I fought her hard all the time because I didn't know the master plan because I didn't have the crystal ball. She did. And so when she was suggesting that I move into a different path, it was because she knew what was coming down the pipeline and was trying to help save my back, basically, and to keep me in forward progress for success. So I initially fought it hard, and then I realized, you know what? I can't grow two big businesses and be huge and successful in both of them by giving, the spread out attention. I have to. And I gave up working for her company to be able to grow my monster business with my team, Platinum Presenters, because that is a bigger impact. I'm sorry, I can only certify so many people in group fitness to be able to help change their lives. And I do hold the record for certifying the most amount of instructors within her company as well. But not everybody wants to teach group fitness. But everyone can become an entrepreneur and help impact and inspire other people's lives. So that's why this business held more water. So that was back in 2011 when I formally quit her company. All right. So is this helpful? Is this helping you at all? Cool. Glad this is helping you guys, and I appreciate it that you are on and also giving great tips. Again, I always recommend for those of you just jumping on as well, this is a great book to read, and I do suggest that you go back and watch the replay if you're jumping on late as well. This one teaches you how to work effectively with your spouse. That's one part of it, but someone's a how person in the relationship and someone's a wow person in the relationship. So do you have any questions specifically on how to actually involve more of your spouse and partner with a working relationship so that you guys actually thrive and not die? You want that relationship. I mean, you worked for it, right? Any tips for brand new whose spouse doesn't understand or believe in it? Well, it again doesn't matter which business you are a part of, but if your spouse isn't believing in what you're doing, most of the time it's because they may see that you're just working, no result. So if you're not producing results, that is something hard to believe in. And I understand that you have to keep working, and then finally it does start to thrive and start to take place, and that's where then consistency comes in. But if you are constantly working like a dog and a lot of time has passed and still you're not getting much return, then you might need to reevaluate how you work because it's not producing results. So they're not seeing results. So a spouse or a partner doesn't typically support because there's not result. They see you working like a dog, and there's obviously result mostly means money coming in, as well as you're constantly away from the relationship. You can, you're basically putting like a wedge that's not proving a result. And also it could be some education. So some people I know still think all network marketing is pyramid schemes. I know that much. And so it usually comes down sometimes to ignorance. Just to say it clearly, sometimes is ignorance. And it's about really just proving that you are with a legit company. Depending, of course, on which company you're with, hopefully they are legit. And that's just proving that it does produce success and result. Can you get an ex-husband to help out? Definitely, I don't know. I mean, it depends on your relationship, of course. But if you have an ex-husband and your relationship is fantastic and you want to have a working relationship with them and it's not going to cause a lot of problems, then sure, do that. But most of the time when it's a spouse and a partner where you are providing into the same bank account, that's where the relationship can thrive more, because all your work and activity is paying you both. So if you have an ex-husband where you guys aren't sharing money anymore, sure, if you want to work with your ex-husband, sure, but your activity is going to be self-serving if you're not joining your money together. So if that makes sense. All right. How we doing? First time. Oh, so great. Glad to have you here. I'm trying to see your name, Kathy. Oh, cool. Glad your spouse is on board. It does make things a little bit easier. But as I said, 2.5 years, my husband said, I want nothing to do with your business. He wanted nothing to do with his business. He wanted to drive to work, come home, work out, play with the kids, eat dinner, watch TV, go to bed. That's what he wanted every night. And he told me that. Exactly. He laid that out. And I said, okay. And I just went and did my own thing. 2.5 years later, though, that tune did change. So here we are, 7 years of me being in my organization, and it's been, I think the year was 2011 is when he formally did switch here. Yeah, it was, because we moved to Texas in September of 2011, and of course he was working full-time doing this. The book, definitely, I totally can. And someone asked, is John speaking at the Platinum Edge? Oh, that was the topic of dinner conversation last night, because his father was here from New York. And he tells how he spoke on stage last year for the first time, and it was to 1,000 people, and how he got so many laughs. Anyway, I'm like, oh yeah, try it again. So I want him to speak again, not just for that purpose, but I want him to be able to just be, again, a visible presence of this joint unity and the monster that we're created here. And I think that you should have that presence. So if not by himself, probably me and him, like a question and answer, we might do that. I'm still putting the schedule together and lining the speakers up to where they need to be as well. Helpful? Is this helpful? I'm going to give you that tip and suggestion again. Go listen to my podcast, The Platinum Edge. I give you 5 strong tips on how to transition a spouse or partner into your business. Did it take seeing other husbands supporting their spouse for him to understand? Nope, because he wasn't in this world. So he didn't go into this world. And not really until he attended his first live events did he see the legitimacy of it. And where he really saw that this was a legit company and not just something on the corner was when I was out to California for the first time that the company was celebrating something they call Superstar Diamond, which is the top rank in the company that you can achieve. So they inaugurated this yearly trip to California for the people who achieve it. So obviously I was the first person to achieve it. So I went out there, and that's where he came on his first trip. And he came in and he was like, well, why are these people falling all over Christine? Like, I come up the elevator and they got balloons and people cheering and everything. He's like, what is this? So he didn't really know. And then we flew over to Chicago for a quarterly meeting where there was a ton of people, and where he was really just like shocked and taken aback was, again, that people knew me, but that they didn't know his last name. So for instance, they were writing my name tag for me and they gave it to me, and then they said, okay, now what's your last name? And he's like, I'm the Dwyer. So that's where he was like, okay, this is big. So he's the first real husband to work in a different capacity than some other spouses work together. Because I know that there's some spouses that work independently as coaches and they kind of work on their own businesses together. He was one of the first ones to really get diving deep in as a joint powerhouse, if you will. All right. glad this is helpful for you guys. And I love that you have questions. And again, if this is a great topic, let me know by tapping, because that will give me an idea that this is a topic that you want me to expand more on. Tony Robbins endorses network marketing professionals. Joining up with a good company is key. I definitely agree, Sharon. I think a lot of the top thought leaders are really seeing as entrepreneurs are definitely the strongest place to go when you want to control your future. Because I used to work for corporate America, and I used to have to wait every year to get a raise, a 3% raise. And I also then had to be told where to go, when to go. And I couldn't be in shorts all the time, right? And that's the thing. It's a lot of people want to control their own time. They want to be present in their kids' lives if they have kids, as well as I just want to go on a vacation. And if I don't want to work today, I don't have to. I don't need to call in and pretend I'm sick. I'm sick today. I'm going to go to the office. I don't need to do that. So that's why entrepreneurship is definitely the way to go. And network marketing is one of the solid places to go, because there's really not a lot of risk, depending, of course, which company you go with. Because like for the one I'm in, you don't have inventory. You don't have to hit a quota. You aren't kicked out if you don't do this. Like, you just have to pay your monthly service fee for your business website and stuff like that, and that's it. So choosing network marketing, I think, and this is my opinion, if you want to be an entrepreneur and do something for yourself, rather than try to go make your own business start, be it by brick and mortar or doing your own online business, I personally think just get in with a network marketing company that matches what you want to achieve and do, and use their platform. It's a platform. It's a vehicle. And you build you. So I'm not building that Beachbody business for Carl Deichler. I'm building my platform, and I'm using that as a resource and a tool because I believe in what they offer. I know it has great success, and I know the support structure has created a lot of great success for people's lives. So I'm building my business, creating leadership, a brand, a following. So that's why my organization is Platinum Presenters. That's my team I created. Good. Glad to see you guys jumping on this, and I'm glad that you have found this as a replay as well. Make sure, again, that if you are replaying, that you do tap, because it does still give hearts, because I can see when we get some good knowledge up in her. Anything else? I think we're pretty much good on this topic then, huh? Any other questions? I want to wrap you up and make sure that you get the answers you need. I hope you guys are loving Periscope. Today I put up on my podcast, The Platinum Edge, topic about Periscope. Should you get involved in Periscope? Do you think Periscope is a good platform for building a following? 100%. Go listen to that podcast today. It's only like 30 minutes long, and it's totally going to give you great perspective on Periscope and other social media platforms. So that is definitely going to help you out with that answer for sure. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. All right. Glad to see that you are here. Make sure you swipe left to right and share this. You can go ahead and do that and let people know. I should have told you that from the beginning. Woo, bad. But you can still share this, because if you swipe left to right, or I got to go this way for you guys, left to right, then you are going to get a button that says share, and you can share the link. You can tweet it out and let people know about this so that they can get the replay. And if you're on an Android, you swipe up, and that brings up the share options as well. Glad to see the podcast that I have is The Platinum Edge. The Platinum Edge. Platinum is the most elite, awesome metal. That's why it's named that, for sure. The Platinum Edge is my conference that I have, and I do it here in Dallas. So not just me, of course, me and my husband. And we have it running November 13th through the 15th. And it's, of course, for my organization, the Platinum Presenters Organization. So The Platinum Edge is my podcast. You can find a lot of great stuff. But today's went up on Periscope, giving you the facts about it and how to best use it. And then I also did put up 5 best tips to involving your spouse and partner in your home business so that you're not fighting. Hopefully that helps. Thanks, guys, so much, and I'm glad that you are here. Thank you again for the love. Make sure that you share this. Share the link by swiping again left to right. Any specific tips for our military couples in the business? Military couples, obviously, for those of you who are doing this business, it's free. Of course, if I believe veterans and all active military, it's free for you to do it. So build. But when you're doing it together, I mean, it depends, because I don't know if someone is out, and if you're by yourself, or if are they deployed, I don't know. So it's a matter of how are they able to work it. And if they're home together, you work it just the same. But if someone's deployed, then it's going to be definitely different, because obviously they got a more important task at hand right now, and I don't know their availability since I'm not in the military. I don't know what availability they have. Who's trying to sneak on my? You see that one? That's Rocky. He needs attention. Right, Rock Monster? Oh, he's got a ball. Come here. Come show your face. Come show your face. Aw, there's Rock. Oh, guess who's coming? This is Fifi. She cannot let Rocky get any attention. See, watch this. See? She will not let Rocky get any attention. She will not. She will not. She wants it. She only wants it. She's mad. Rocky. All right, thanks, guys. Check in with you next time. Make sure you share this. Swipe left to right if you are on iOS, and swipe up if you are on Android. Thanks so much for checking in, and I will talk to you soon.